Hey everybody, welcome to Strategication Saturday. Do you want to know how I called the top of SPY and the bottom of SPY? Am I a genius? No, not at all. I just know what outside bars are. One of the hardest thing for people to understand about the strat, which is broadening formations, and I hope that this video is going to clear up all, if not most, I hope all, of your broadening formation questions. Okay, so before everybody starts thinking I'm full of crap, we're going to go to Twitter and we're going to look at this tweet. When I said on September 13th, I said, just wanted to let everybody know we have the possibility for a potential outside month on SPY and QQQ. Well, what is an outside month? What is an outside bar? An outside bar are labeled as threes. They take out the high and the low of the previous candle on any time frame. So, with that being said, let's go back, zoom in on this picture. So when SPY was at 444, I was calling for it to get down all the way to 436 at least, and then some. And why did I say this? Why did I think that? Because when a bar goes above the previous candle's high and starts to fail, meaning there's no more buyers stepping up, starts to fail, comes back down, turns red, I have a 50% rule, which means once this candle has taken out one side and retraced at least half of the previous candle, we can pretty much surmise that we're going to become an outside bar. Now, this is obviously not 100%. Nothing is 100%. This is a game of probabilities. So the probability of it becoming an outside bar are very good once we've retraced 50%. So what would it take for this candle to become an outside bar? We would have to take out 436 because we have to take out the high of the previous candle and we have to take out the low of the previous candle. That would create an outside bar. So once you get halfway here, you're aiming for 436. That's the target. And then 1 week later, on September 20th, it happened. This is the SPY monthly. And I said, we did it. We achieved our target. And most people think that we go short when we hit the previous week's low. That is incorrect. We are assuming we're going to get an outside bar. So we want to be short from halfway through the previous candle, with this being our target. This is not the same thing as a 2 up, 2 down reversal because it's already moved so much in a month. And we have to be mindful, kind of like the average true range, of how much a stock can actually logically move. So once we came down here, the target was there. Now, how do twos happen? How do candles happen? You have to understand where a candle opens, where its high is, where it closes, where it's going to go. So this is something I don't do a lot, so bear with me. Let's play the chart replay. Something I don't normally do. But let's see what this candle does, because we know that threes take out both sides of the previous candle. So here's August. This candle opening is going to be September. So we open, we break August high, and then come down a little. Oh, we're failing the top side. Okay, so right there, we have taken out half of the previous candle. So we can guess we're going to go take out, this says 434 because of the dividend and the quad witching and all that. So the other chart said 436. So there we go. So you guys all saw it opened, it went up by, let's see, what? $1. We broke the previous month's high by $1, started coming back through. This is when I said, hey, we're looking for an outside month. So what does that mean? It means you don't want to be buying the dip on the daily, where most people buy the dip on the daily. Let's go to the daily time frame. Most people and most algos love to buy on the 20 and 50 day moving average, I think. So let's look at those. So up here is the 20 day, down here is the 50 day. So people who were dip buying on this bar, which was at 445, and this bar, which was at 441, you could have bought so much lower. You could have bought $10 lower if you knew about outside bars, because the likelihood of us taking out the lows was very high. So you, using multiple time frame analysis and knowing that we have a good chance of becoming an outside month, you know we're going to go visit the August lows. And we know that outside bars, well, I say we know, but if you've watched my previous video on outside bars are broadening formations on a smaller time frame. So, and you can draw it however you want. We have higher highs, and then we take out the lows, which is the point of a broadening formation, and we make a new low. So this is your SPY monthly outside bar. So basically, if you were to make this a 2-bar chart, the high to the low, so this candle is completely outside the range of this candle. So we knew we were coming down to test this 434 level, okay? Let's go back to Twitter. So I said, yay, we did it. All right. Then, why did I point out this hourly reversal? All right. So I said the SPY hourly reversal was almost too easy because we took out our monthly bar target. We hit our magnitude. The target on an outside bar is just to become an outside bar. Once it does that, it's done its job. It became an outside bar. It took out the highs. So anybody who was short and then we broke above got stopped out. And then anyone who was long since August lows probably got stopped out when September broke the lows of August. So it stopped out the bulls, it stopped out the bears. That's what these do. So once that happens, that's it. Our target is met, the trade is done, then we're at exhaustion risk because we hit our target. And I'm always talking about targets and why they're so important and why you should get out at your target, because your target is a target for a reason. That's the end of the price action. So you did your trade, you took it, it was successful, then we're now at downside exhaustion risk because we hit our longer term time frame target. So once you're at exhaustion risk, this is when you can flip positions. So close your short and go long. So let's go to the SPY hourly. That chart was from this day, so the lows. So let's go back Let's get rid of these moving averages because I don't use them or like them. Okay, and I showed you we had consecutive higher lows. Nope, lower highs. So we had a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, pivot machine gun. And we know that an actionable signal is a 2 down, 2 up reversal, which is what we got right here. So you knew that the price was going to come down to at least here, August low. So that was your target. Now you don't just want to get in right away because you hit your target. You don't want to just get in and go long. You still want to wait for an actionable signal, a reversal. And I'll show you right here. That's where it was. So, I mean, this was beautiful. So the entry was here, your stop was here. So a $2 risk to basically catch the very bottom, okay? Now you want to keep your stop tight because if they keep deciding to sell it down, then this wasn't the bottom and we were wrong. But it's very likely that since we took out all the pivots on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, this is when they're going to start buying back now because they scared everybody out of the market. So that was the entry, and it's just been, you know, a nice little uptrend ever since. Okay, so what now? Now people were asking, what happens? What happens now? What do we do? My response to that was, now nothing. Now you wait. So when October opens up, let's get rid of all these lines. When October opens up, I said we're either going to get an inside bar, which we're looking like it's going to be an inside bar. We are currently, you guys, look at this. We are currently reliving this exact scenario. Okay, this is the monthly. We opened, we went up, started failing, go short because we're expecting to be an outside bar and at least reach this point, which we did. We hit that, flip, reverse, go long. Then we got an inside bar. So I'm betting, I don't bet, but I assume when we open in October, we're going to open just like this. Something that I noticed when I did a video with my new friend Rich from Trading Wars, we were talking about fibs because I don't use them at all whatsoever, and he loves fibs. And so we were talking about outside bars because our strategies are so similar. And I explained to him what my strategy is for playing outside bars. And he said, I told him about my 50% rule. And he said, well, why'd you come up with that? And I said, I don't know. It just made the most sense to me because if a bar only retraces a third of the previous candle, it's really not enough to believe it's going to become an outside bar. So I went a little heavier and said 50%. And then he showed me basically to just draw a fib. If you don't have a 50% script for your candle, you can just draw a fib and it'll give you your 50%. So if we take the low of the August candle and drag it to the high of the August candle, the 50% retracement mark was around 443. And I believe when I posted on Twitter, it was at 444, and I was just eyeballing it. So this is a really cool way to determine without doing like manual math with calculators, you know, what the 50% retracement is. So that was really cool, learning and talking with him and, you know, being open-minded and always learning new things. That's what, you know, we should all love to do. Keep an open mind. So, yep, so here's our broadening formation. So let's also talk about Facebook and Apple, because it was all the same setup. And I was posting this everywhere. I called the bottom of Facebook because of the broadening formation. I said it looks just like the Apple daily chart, which I'll show you in a minute. So see, we opened, we top ticked barely, started coming back through, hit the 50%. We kept going. So we knew our target was going to be, let's use my lines, it's easier. We knew our target was going to be at least 347.70. All right. So what do you do with that? Again, once this broadening formation starts happening, you look for signals to the downside, knowing that your target is 347.70. So however you want to trade that, however you play your options, you can do it. So we had so many actionable signals to the downside on Facebook. You had this inside and down, this inside and down, this inside and down, except this one wasn't actionable because of the giant gap. But if you were short from in here, knowing your target was 347.70, what could you have done? You could have bought the, what was Friday? 924 puts for 347.50. Here, or here, knowing this was our target. So we hit our target. So I told everybody, I'm like, I am only long Facebook from here because we hit our monthly target. So we are at exhaustion risk. So people who took this 212 down on Friday instantly were in a red position. Okay, so the 347.70 is our monthly. So you had a 212 down, all right? Look at that. It barely went down because we were looking long already. We already hit our target. We hit our monthly target. I don't want to be short this anymore. The market's rallying. I expect Facebook to rally. So I did not play this. Do you guys want to know where I got in? I knew this was going to become an outside bar. So let's do our little fib thing like Rich showed us. Got to make it real big. I got in at 346.34, expecting this candle to become an outside bar. So that was my target one. So I bought, well, you could have bought the 350 calls down here at 346. Could have bought some of those. And then you could have bought the gap fill target, which was 355 calls, which is what I was playing, which were so much more out of the money that the percent gain was bigger. And we hit, so my target was 355.19. We hit a high of 354.35. Not bad. 346 to 354, I'll take it. Okay, just for fun, let's watch the bar replay again because I think it's a fun time. I have the 50% line in yellow. Here we go. Oh, we're going green. We're long, guys. Oh, below my entry, I got stopped out. Oh, let me buy the dip on the 20 MA. Oh, it's still going. Oh, God. Now the 50 MA. Oh, they're buying it. No, guys, we're going outside month. We're going to 434. You're crazy, Sarah. Like a fox. Bam, outside month. Okay, seriously, this is too much fun. Ooh, I'm gonna have to edit the heck out of this video. I feel like I oversaid some things too many times or repeat said some things. I don't know. Anyway, happy Saturday. Maybe I'll go live in a little while. I don't know. It's scary. All right. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Only a quarter of my followers are subscribers. That kind of hurts my feelings, but all right. Love you guys. Mwah.